Finland is obviously the country I was born. It's the country where I was raised and the place where I got all the important factors to my life. My education, my childhood, my raising up. I have actually lived outside Finland for the big part and actually most of my adult life. But Finland has a special meaning to me. I try to take 1 or 2, even 2 months vacation, and then I spend it mostly in Finland, in the countryside, and just relaxing and enjoying the beautiful nature of Finland. Finland is the place where I always go back to. Before I started here in Paris as the music director of the Orchestra Philharmonique de Radio France, I was 7 years as the artistic director of the Finnish National Opera, which is actually the biggest cultural institution in Finland. Since that, I've been sometimes working also in Finland, sometimes even for teaching young conductors there. When we speak about Finland, I think it's important to understand the characteristics of the country. Finland actually is a very large country with only 5.5 million people living in it. We have like 16 people per square kilometer. I think this explains a lot about the Finnish character, considering that around 80% of the land is forest. In Finland we have around 170,000 lakes, which means that obviously nature is something really important for us that we grew up with. Even in a country with these kind of long distances, it has been possible to create a very intensive network of local music schools, regardless where you are. Even if you are in the big city or if you are in a remote village. Music or art, that it's not something far away, something separate, but it's actually a normal part of our life. This enables, besides to create then and to find special talents on the international level, but more importantly, it also grows a generation of people who appreciate music. Jorma Panula is one of the most recognized teachers for conductors. It is very often asked that what is his method and what makes him so successful as a teacher. Well, I would say there wasn't any method, and that's the whole point. If you look at people and conductors who studied with Jorma Panula, we are actually all rather different. I think the most important thing in his teaching is that he really wants to support the natural characteristics of his student, and instead of putting them in some kind of one format. This is the key point in Jorma Panula's teaching. We can very well say that Sibelius has had the greatest influence in Finnish music. This is also to do with the fact that Finland got the independence in 1917. And Sibelius, with his compositions, he was actually a very big part of that to create the national identity. We can still feel it very well. we are kind of all successors of him. At the funeral of Sibelius, Rautavaara, he was one of the young students carrying his coffin. During the 90s, Rautavaara became actually probably the most internationally performed composer. And something in his own musical language was really speaking to audiences also outside Finland. I had a great pleasure of knowing him very well. He was a close collaborator and a very close friend. But now the music continues, the music lives, and I'm privileged to be able to carry his music on for the next future. I think in Finland we have always had quite a natural relationship to living composers. I think it's very normal for us. It's also very normal for the audience. And the audience is expecting to hear new works. I think we have a lot to offer from our small country. If you really want to hear the Finnish nature, for example, all the different kinds of birds that you can hear in northern Finland, I would recommend the Cantus Arcticus by Rautavaara. Because, well, first of all, it's called Cantus Arcticus, Concerto for Birds and Orchestra. And the birds that you can hear on the tape are actually live recorded long time ago by Rautavaara in the Finnish nature. That would be one of my recommendations.
Entrez au cœur du concert.